How will I start this off, Mike? So, okay, guys. So we're back, and we have official name for the podcast. We're gonna go with PARRA Podcast. PP, Mike calls it. And we have Mr. Mike Fatboy Slim with us here today.
Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you. The first time.
Nice to meet you. So Mike is actually, I've known Mike for the guts of, I was in Vancouver probably 5 or 6 years now.
What year are we talking?
I was in Vancouver, so it was probably 5 years ago. I don't even what we know. So 19, I think, is when I first got in contact with you. It was actually Clancy. You were coaching at the time.
Dara Clancy was coaching first, and I thought it was you before him.
No. It was him first, and then, because I wasn't really open to the online coaching world, because Dara was obviously competing and shit at the time. Then got in contact with you, and
because I remember you two boys came online coaches when you were working with me at the same time.
Yeah.
I reckon you both said you did it at the same time.
Yeah.
You both did it around the same time, didn't you?
I think I was a little bit first.
You were first.
Dara was after. But Dara had a good base built, obviously, and stuff like that. But yeah, so Mike, I suppose, a mentor from kind of day one, really. Like even before we were kind of working together, I remember reaching out to you on Instagram and stuff like that, and helped me a lot with a couple of different things in terms of like remember asking questions. I probably don't even remember like with social media and stuff like that. Should I start a new page? Should I use my original page? So I respect.
I told you stick with the original page.
You said stick with the original. You're like, you fucking.
Some people are too up there on it. They won't follow two pages. You should sport and love them both. So I was like, always just stick with the original one, turn that into fitness. And if you want to have a private, personal one,
do that.
But yeah,
because I had a little bit. I think it was 800 followers at the time.
It's still much. Yeah, but still good. That's where your bread and butter was in terms of
for sure, man.
Watching.
And you know what? The biggest thing. I'm so happy I done it because I remember putting up a load of content at the time.
Yeah.
And it was people were reaching out and signing up that I did not think would want to see that shit. So I was like, it was fucking
magic.
Straight off the bat, that was a fucking
winner.
Respect.
Made him money before he was in Newcastle.
Before I knew how to coach. Yeah. No. But no, and then obviously, that was lockdown hit, I remember then. So that was when I was in Canada.
But you were coaching before lockdown?
No, I just started online coaching. At that time in Canada, I was doing a little bit on the side. Yeah. Then, so I had a couple of clients. I was doing a couple of in-person. Then lockdown obviously hit. Moved back to Ireland. I remember my last couple of £100, I pumped it into you.
Wow.
And best decision I ever made, 100%. So we done a photo shoot that year, wasn't it?
The photo shoot in the best condition I'd ever seen, probably personally to that day. Do you know? And he's 100% natural. At the time, I don't know if he is now, but like at the time,
still that, yeah.
He was. The condition was crazy, and you can probably see that, or you can pop it up on screen or whatever, but. It was unbelievable, and I'm not blowing smoke up his arse because I'm here now talking to him. No, it was literally Dixon condition. I don't forget it. We went and we saw the videographer Kess, and Kess has done like probably the vast bulk of all my clients' photo shoots. And Kess was like, "Yeah, Mike, he's the best one." And she was like, "Yeah, you're full of shit." Like, yeah, Mike, and we were like, "No, we're doing it true." He's like, "You tell that to all the clients."
Well, like, no, I had 5 months. Yeah, my arse dog. I looked like a junkie then with clothes on.
Hey, and skill.
I remember there's a picture of me. I was having coffee with my sisters that was like 2 weeks beforehand, bro, and look, this stayed of me. Not a bit of muscle, but no, even that, and you pushing me and coaching me through all of that, and then
it's all about the motivation, the mindset.
For sure.
You knew what to do. It was just about keeping on the straight and narrow. Because cravings, everyone experienced that at first prep. Binge eating, everything happened to me, happens to everyone, and you got to know how to like kind of manage it. And once it happens, what you do, and don't just lose your head.
Yeah. No, that was the biggest lessons, I suppose, bringing myself through that. Which has then obviously benefited me massively.
In coaching, because you're
you know what people are going through, the emotions and stuff like that.
That's how makes a coach the best coach, in my opinion, is that they've experienced it themselves, is that you've been through it, you know beforehand, tell them what emotions they're going to be feeling, Joe, anxiety, stress. Joe, some people experience anger, they're moody. If you've experienced that, that's the best way to teach someone. I've always told you, Shane, when I was teaching you, is like, you can't get that from a textbook. If a textbook says X, Y, and Z, if you can't relate to it yourself, you can't portray that to a client.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And then another thing, I suppose, the biggest thing was at the time then people were like trying to just pump a load of content and stuff, content. And I was like, what would you focus on if you were me right now? And he was like, just clients. Yeah. Clients, service clients. That's what I did. And it fucking, honestly, worked the treat.
With you now to buy your own podcast.
Trying. We'll see how far we get. Yeah, no, but much respect, man. I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
So we're currently in Dubai now. How are you finding life in Dubai?
As we said, Janai, it's home for us now, isn't it? It's good, a bit of a shock. Everyone moans about the generic stuff, the weather is hot. But look, I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. This first time I'm saying it public, though, on the internet. It is the future of the world. It is the future. By 2040, they predict what? The population is going to double. You know, they broke a record for the most visitors in June in history. You're something. Yeah. So it's just on the up. And again, for people like us to be situated here in our business, more population, more fish to fry. You're just going to market yourself and you're just going to grow bigger and bigger and financially climb the ladder. Yeah. But obviously this is the best place to be if you want to be in a position to financially grow, because the people you're brushing shoulders with every day, the majority of them are high net worth individuals. And I was only reading a statistic the last day that this is overtaking New York, that New York used to be every 5 people you walk by is a millionaire. They said now in Dubai, every 3 people you walk by, one of them was a millionaire. It's crazy. Like,
wild. So I think that's a big thing for sure. Is like networking and meeting new people, and you can bump into anyone. You can be sitting in a coffee shop, start chatting to someone, and just open doors like that.
I mean, everyone my whole life is talking about your network is your net worth, and obviously you have to put yourself outside the box. And what Roy really boils down to is you got to take risks, you got to take chances. You never know who you're going to bump into. And what I mean by that is, coming here, you came here when you weren't as big as you were then. You took the risk, you made a leap of faith, and look at you now, you've just skyrocketed. What was the catalyst? You left Ireland, you went to a bigger pond, even though it's a smaller population before anyone jumps down my throat. But I mean, just opportunities are bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just worked out massively for you. But it all started with you saying, Mike, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going to start it over there. I was like, go for it, man.
It was you telling me to go there.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah.
Because I was in Spain at the time.
Doing it, yeah.
I was in Spain at the time. You were coaching me, and business was just kind of popping off, and I was like, holy fuck, like what? And you were like, go to Dubai. Yeah. Go to Dubai. Did not know where Dubai was, did not know what to expect. Remember, at the Virtue Zone, signed up. Lockdown eating Spain. I was like, right, I'm going to Dubai. Topped over. I was walking around. I remember being like, what?
Yeah, because the tax incentives and the funny thing was, I don't know, say, Joe, you and Dara signed up through me because I gave you the net.
Yeah.
I didn't get the commission. I didn't get the commission. No.
No, but they're weird about it.
No, but who gave it? Because I rang up and she goes, Craig O'Sullivan got the commission. I was like, what? Yeah, he got commission because he gave me her number before. So that went through, right? Then because I wasn't actually a client at the time,
it went through. Okay.
I was like, what the?
Did you sign up with them then?
Yeah, I signed up with them.
Yeah.
Man,
brilliant.
that works.
Yeah, someplace. You were in Bali recently. How do you find that?
Bali is more for the chilled people. I mean, everything is more laid back than Dubai, or I've also lived in New York. It's relaxed. I mean, for a holiday destination, I'd say it's good.
Yeah.
But I found out after a month or all that, it's the cheapest country in the world, but like productivity isn't there because everyone's out again lower than usual. Everyone's just like chill, man. It's like no trouble, no peace. There's no drama. Not that there's any drama in Dubai. No one fights for any carnage. I'm not like looking for that, but I mean, there's no rush. Like you're stuck in traffic every day, all day. Is a moped, beep, 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 beep. That's when you get adrenaline coming. You go, real, and motorbikes. But it's just a slower paced world. I mean, I would advise everyone to go there because it's very scenic and it is an experience where it was only until I went there where I realized I enjoy experiencing other people's cultures. I went to some like festivals and things like that. Not like party festivals, but festivals of like cultural festivals. Yeah, and you just like, it's eye-opening. And when you turn up with muscle, it was like, picture, you're like, you're just like, take a picture. It's like, come here. And it's like, ding, dang, bang, bang. And you're like, bro, no, I don't understand. And it's like, bang, 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 bang. It's like, no, you understand. I don't speak that language. And they go again. And you're like, God, what the fuck, like?
Just take a picture.
Yeah, just take a picture. I don't speak that language.
Yeah, no, I noticed that with Thailand as well. I was there just for a couple of days, but...
Yeah, what did you do?
I went, oh man, I had a crazy experience on a boat and shit like that. That fucking bad. We're not going to go into that. I genuinely thought I was dead.
Was that the first time you went there?
That was my first time ever in Asia, and I literally booked it 3 hours before the flight. One of the boys was going, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll go. It was like, wow, the evening flight and came back in 5 days' time, but...
That's what I'm talking about. Like, if anyone's watching this, like, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, spontaneous is good. I promote it. Do you know what I mean? Some people are going to say it's crazy within 3 hours booking a flight, but that's a life memories you're going to live with.
Oh man, honestly, best thing, best trip, one of the best trips I've ever been on. It was literally just a whole trip. It was going around, so weed is actually legal over here.
Yeah, now it's changed.
It's completely different. I haven't smoked weed in years.
I can't smoke it, bro.
My head goes. Yeah, no, I was the same. I was like, no, I don't really like it when I went in. But there's like the shops, and there's like, this one makes you giddy, this one makes you kind of hungry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. High in sativa, I think one of them. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. I felt cool off that, so literally the whole holiday I was just going around baying down of it and just going around. It was driving the mopeds and stuff. It was good. It was nice, good experience. Really, really ran it there. To be fair, you touched off New York.
Yeah, I lived in New York for 2 years. Yeah, that was probably my come up phase. Then 2 years
with the documentary, wasn't it?
The documentary that changed again.
So how did that come about? 2016.
when I was joining the fitness industry. Just like
you competed and stuff, didn't you?
Competed, done that. It's like, I think I first competed in 2015. In 2016, I was still online coaching in 2015. So it's been quite a long time now since I've been doing it. But I never really had a mentor, anyone to tell me. And the fitness game, when I started in it, wasn't big in Ireland. It was like non-existent. Even going to the gym was frowned upon because it was all GA players.
Yeah.
And they didn't need to go to the gym. It was like, well, you go to the gym, you play football on the pitch. So that was grand. I kept tipping away, doing my own thing. And I was having a head start in the industry. So I was getting a decent amount of clients. But, you know, the most you're netting back then is, I don't know, 3-4 grand a month. Like, that's still in Irish society. That's amazing, man. Don't get me wrong. I was like, that's amazing. Man. I was like, you know, I was proud. I was like, holy crap, I built a business by myself, 3-4 grand a month. And then I was lying in bed one night and I was like, how can you get more clients? How can you market? And Instagram was a thing, but it wasn't a thing. Facebook was still the OG when I got into the fitness industry. Instagram kicked off around, I don't know, 2017, 2018 when it got really, really big, but like 2014, 2015, 2016, it was there, but it was still a 50-50 split between Facebook. And I just thought, oh, I'll just make this advert. But for some reason, the community guidelines on Instagram, and this was the eureka moment I had, you couldn't post a before and after photo and promote it to be seen globally or whatever you do. I'm not an ad expert. It came up as nudity in the community, and it voids the ad. Yeah. So I got this genius idea. I was never kidding. I was lying in bed one night in 2016. Went to bed. That's when I get my most ideas. I know Elon Musk gets his in the showers and the one, but mine is just, I go to bed at night and it's just peace, and I'm just with my own thoughts and just manifesting without even knowing I'm manifesting. And I was like, why don't I get a cardboard cutout and do that for a transformation? I did it once, posted the ad, everything took off, boom, kept doing that. More and more clients, more and more money. And then all of a sudden, now, not like loads and loads of money. I mean, like probably the 3-4K a month went to 5 or 6. So I'm like, wow, that made it genius, like marketing genius. And then all of a sudden, I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to compete in New York. So I just got this idea. I was like, I don't want to be like everyone else. Everyone else in the UK was competing in UK or Ireland. I was like, I just want to do something different, because again, spontaneousness, being impulsive, don't follow society. You know, don't be a sheep, do something different.
Yeah, for sure.
So I invested quite a lot of buck in competing the flights. My videographer, I brought Zach with me at the time, because I thought something big could come of this, and the apartment and everything, and the bare bones of competition. It went come about 6,500-7,000 euro, which was quite a lot of money. Yeah. Took the risk, went over there. When he was posting my content and everything, the algorithm, because it was in New York at the time, it actually pinged off some guy called Anthony Lolly, who was actually on the verge of starting his fitness fat loss transformation. So when I landed back in Ireland about 2 days later, I didn't check my requests. I'd been in America for a week, and he was like, hey bro, I like what you do. Can you help me out? And I was like, oh yeah, of course, man. The usual pitch, you know, I do online coaching. This is what I do. Yeah. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I need personal. I was like, bro, I don't do in person. I'm an online coach. Like, can you, look at this.
Why is really then about this?
At 26.
26. Okay.
25, sorry, 25 before I went out. I had my birthday when I was out there.
Okay.
So I was 25. And he says, can we get on a call one day? So I was like, all right, I'll get on a call. And he goes, I'll never forget it. He was like, so yeah, I'm going to do this fitness transformation. I really want you to be my coach. I said, yeah, man. But I said, I live in Ireland, you know, got a house, got a family, got all this, you know. So name your price. I said, what? Name your price. And I was like, this is out of the movie. This is a wind up. Like, so anyway, I'm going to say my price. He was like, yeah, come on. 2 days later, I'm flying to America. Booked the flights, everything down, boom, gone. That was it. So the spontaneous thing, impulsive. What I've really kind of, if I really think back, life-changing, the most memorable thing, or the most thing I can, you know, award to myself is I'm very impulsive. When the opportunity comes, I take it. I go for it straight away. I don't wait. When I've seen, you know, people over the lifetime, they get given an opportunity. I think, I'll think about it, linger. I was like, fuck it, I go for it. Yeah, if it goes tits up, it goes tits up. I went for it. No one else would walk away from a country, you know, they've lived their whole life and don't know anyone, and go to some random person's house you don't know and just say, yeah, boom, that was it. I done it. And that was when I started, you know, obviously making a name for myself, racking up the bags. And luckily enough, that opened the doors for a documentary for me. And then when I got the documentary, then that was a game-changing moment. As you know, I've told you personally, that was when the big bucks started flooding in.
Things are popular.
Because I even said to you, because I never blow smoke up my own arse to say to anyone, even to Dyer or all the boys, is that, oh, Mike, what did you do different? What made you so? What was your secret? Nothing. same as him, same as every online coach. The only thing I had that had an advantage over everyone else was that I got put on Amazon Prime. So the credibility factor and the reach that had just skyrocketed the revenue.
That was from you taking those risks and putting yourself out there, whereas other people mightn't do that. They were like,
because I jumped to
so
America,
you jumped,
left the family, left everyone.
like,
it's just crazy.
It's just about taking risks a lot of the time, isn't it? And that, as you said, that could have went tits up.
Tits up, but it paid off.
But it paid off.
It changed my entire life. That
was the swears. Okay. Sorry, I have to stop swearing. I was back to my last few podcasts, and I was like, oh my god, the amount of cursing I was like, I need to cut that out. So I'm working on. But so nuts, and then so from America.
Then COVID came. I came back.
You were in Ireland then.
I came back to Ireland. Then obviously the documentary went live. Then I made my first ever $500,000, and that was life changing. Yeah. So that was the moment where I was like, wow. I was like, that was a memorable moment where I took a step back and was like, what the? Can't say that word, but just happened.
You can say it.
And I was like, crap. I was like, this is crazy possible. And then what I realised after doing that is that in Ireland, it doesn't matter if you're making over $500,000 a year, you're going to be skint because the government get basically half of it. So even if you put yourself on a high salary, anything taxed over 100k a year is over 50% on the salary. So I was like, then you're paying corporation tax on top of that. So I was like, what the hell am I doing making all this money? I need to get the hell to Dubai because it's literally tax free. Now they brought in corporation tax this year, which is 9%, but that's still extremely minimal compared to paying income tax. So I mean, it's just a no-brainer because the benefits are just crazy to be in Dubai in comparison to being situated in the UK or Ireland is life-changing. So any online coach out there, like not even making big money, like I mean even making mediocre money, I mean like you're gonna save a lot more. Obviously don't start living like a dickhead in Dubai,
which can easily happen.
You can easily do, he's right. You know, like you're probably going to save more. It's easier to save more money in Ireland because you can be restricted in God monk mode. But in Dubai, if you apply the same principles in God monk mode and kind of keep your head down and work, well, then you'll get the tax benefit massively. It will pay you back 10 times over.
Because I think about that as well. The way I kind of looked at it is like, okay, it's like, you don't get me wrong. In Ireland, you like realistically, you'll save a lot more money. I personally think
because that's because you've got a lot of friends and you go out and party. You don't spend a lot of cash, but it adds up.
You go outside and you can spend a lot easily. But I think being in Ireland, you're not spending, but you're giving the majority of that to the government anyway. So you might as well be out here living a higher lifestyle.
Good.
Getting your coffees, getting your few meals.
Very clever point. Never heard that.
I very good. Personally, anyway.
Never heard that.
Yeah,
very good.
Sure, because
we're just saying, even if you do more and you're spending more, you're going to be giving half that to the government. So you're doing nothing.
You might as well be over here spending that in not budgeting on coffees or whatever the fuck it might be. Do you know that kind of what? Yeah. Sweet. So then where are we off into? Yeah. So I suppose one thing that noticed big time is you were always kind of thinking outside of the box with things.
Yeah.
Always thinking outside the box with the cardboard cutouts. Even at the time you were pumping the YouTube, I didn't really know. Maybe Rob Limpson at the time was doing it.
Yeah,
the only one in Ireland.
Yeah,
like you come from you're from Cork, right?
Yeah, no, Kerry.
Oh, Kerry. I thought it was Cork. So you're Kerry, and then obviously like that must have been at the time. It was kind of like
that was when the Fitness series was taking off. So, I remember even a lot of big coaches that in Dubai now that will come from Ireland. I was on the scene before they were even.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Because honestly, you were one of the first that I genuinely did
online coaching.
It wasn't really a thing.
The reason why that was because remember that all the stories in the paper and articles all around Ireland, the Sunday World, they all done these news articles on me about my weight loss transformation.
Okay,
that was the first bit of success I ever had was in 2014 when I lost all the weight, and then some guy from the Sunday World reaches out and says, "Mike, can we do an article on you?" And I was like, "This is BS." Like he done it. Next thing, phones, bring emails, all the newspapers around Ireland, UK, Australia. People sending me front page news of Panama, front page, and it's all in Spanish going, guy beats bullies, fitness model. And I was like, what the fuck? Australia radio station doing interviews, like 25-30 minute interviews over the phone and just playing it on air. And I was like, wow. So I never forget it. Instagram wasn't even big then. The Lad Bible shared it. And overnight it accumulated like 15,000 followers just because they were clicking the link. And Instagram wasn't even big then.
Went viral.
Just went boom, that was it. And then the biggest...
So you posted it on your page?
I posted my page.
On your Instagram page?
No, on my Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook, yeah.
And then some guy saw it, reached out, and then once one paper got it,
boom.
Every paper wanted to get their 2 cents opinion. And what I learned that year, the BS they chat, Like you hear it in the movies, like, oh, I hate the tabloids, I hate the newspaper. That it went from £20, £40, then the top. Mike lost £200. And it was like, wow, like it's like I didn't do it, and it was like bully, suicide, depression. All this was all fabricated, like. But it would, if you read it, you were like, wow, this guy really, really, yeah. And it was all bullshit. And I had friends I went back to at school, and it was just like, this is really hurt. They were like, bro, why are you lying about all this stuff that happened in school? And they said, you said you were bullied, said this. And I said, I swear down, I didn't say
Nobody believed in this shit.
They don't know the tabloid. They don't know they actually chat absolute shit. And I was like, I swear to you on my life, I didn't say any of that. They're like, whoa, it says in the paper here, you said this. And I'm like, I don't believe that, man. So that was the first catalyst that gave me the headway into the door, online coaching. And then the leads overnight from that were massive. And I told you, that rapper, Tiger, he reached out via Facebook and he said, congratulations, bro. I'm like so proud of you. Really, really inspired me. Keep doing your good work. Me being the chancer, again, spontaneous, impulsive. I said, hey, bro, massive fan. Didn't really know much of his music, but I knew he was a big deal. Any chance you fly me out to LA, me, didn't write back. So
had to go.
I had to give it a shot.
Didn't pay off, but
that was it. But that was it. So I've always just been a chancer. But the one thing I noticed, and I love and I'm proud of growing up in Ireland, is that all the people I went to school with, I was always a big dreamer. I always had like, a big head, literally. And they were just like, bro, you think you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Back to our school, I dropped out of school at 14 and a half. And then I dropped out of school, got into drugs, drug dealing, alcohol. I was in a state, bro. And that was where I gained all the weight.
So you were quite heavy. I remember seeing the before.
Crazy, bro.
Fat.
Like I was good up until 14 and a half, and I just couldn't stick school. Not that I was done, I just didn't like being told what to do. So back then I never got diagnosed. It wasn't even that big then, but I had a severe case of ADHD or ADD. But no one diagnosed it. I couldn't sit in a classroom. It was like the pain and the tormentation of sitting in the classroom for 40 minutes, because every class was 40 minutes. We had 9 classes a day. Of just sitting there and the teacher going blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was like, I just wanted to move or do something. I couldn't concentrate on the one thing. And I was like, this is not for me. Not that like I was really good at maths, really good at English. And I was like, I can't do this. So I said, when I'm done, I said, look, I'm not going to school. And they're like, what? I said, there's no fucking way I'm not doing it.
Done.
Then I started hanging
out.
And
how did they take that?
They weren't happy, but I was like, it's my way or the highway. I was like, look, I'm telling you, I'm not going back because I just can't stick it. And I tried and I hated myself for giving up and not doing it. But it just really, once I fell out too much, because like before I actually fully dropped out, I was missing a lot of school, just not going. I just wasn't bobbly. It was just like, it used to stress me out. I was like, oh, it's so boring. I love meeting the lads and messing,
having the crack,
playing football, all the sports, but just sitting in a classroom all day was not for me. And they were like, oh, you're never going to amount to anything. You're going to, so what are you doing? You're going out the weekend, getting smashed, because I got on a Friday, end up calling the door Monday because I didn't live in the town. So like your local town is what, Ennis is it or something?
Yeah, look, yeah.
Right, I lived about half an hour away from the town. So when you went out to town on the beer, and I didn't have a driving license at that age, you just stayed on the beer all week, falling the door, and mum and dad were like, oh, stay this guy, it's great.
What age was this then? Like this was
14, 15, 16, hanging around with the wrong crowd, hanging around with the guys 18, 19, 20, 21, because you're not in school and they're the only people that are around.
Yeah.
So they lead to doing drugs, weed, smoking, then dealing drugs. And that was terrible up until the age of 19. And people say, how did you have such a eureka moment at such a young age? Well, the amount of partying and drugs I'd done from 14 onwards to 18, 19, that was 5 years straight, right? And during that time, I was working on building sites, worked on fishing boats. Like back then, we used to get paid €100 a day on a building site, like grafting our ass off, like, fucking like lifting bricks, demolishing, shoveling sand. And you would be delighted, payday Friday, you get your 500, and you were like, wow, I'm the richest man in the world. Like, you would be so happy. And it never actually taught me society. You watch the movies, you see the flash cars, you see the watches. Even if you worked every day for your whole life getting paid that 500 a week, you still wouldn't be able to afford one of them things, which is a mind-boggling thing. But so it came to the extent, I always dreamed big, but I wasn't getting successful even from a young age when I wanted these things, because I never reverse engineered it. If you reverse engineer it and say, right, I'm doing something wrong. So basically, after getting absolutely wasted, making a mess of myself, getting fat, woke up at 19, and one day I just had this eureka moment. I was like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? Like, I've got no money. I'm working on building sites, grafting my ass up, working on fishing boats, like doing slave labor. I hate my life. Do you know what I'm living for? The weekend is drugs and alcohol. And then I was like, do you know what? I said, I want to go back to college. I want to do my leaving cert. So obviously I had to go to Cork then. I moved to Cork, went into student accommodation, and I had to go into the adult leaving cert. So I'm 19, probably 20, halfway through the year. And I'm the youngest in the course. Like everyone's like 30, 35, 50, 60. So you can imagine how tough that was. Like, I'm a different age back into all these, like, and long story short, I done it, did all right.
So you got a leaving cert?
Got leaving cert, yeah.
And how long did that take you to get done? It was
1 year.
So
1 year. So you go in, you repeat leaving cert. So the subjects I've done for all them years, just 1 year crash course.
Okay, yeah.
And as I said, I had it in me, the work rate, and because it was kind of done on my own, I don't know, college is different. It was only quarter school, it was different. But it was all the same book, same, so I remember them all, like. And then what actually happened was, during that time, after that year, because it was the first time I was living in the city, I was near a gym, because I told you I live in the back arse of nowhere. I could actually start going to the gym, and you had time on your hands, and you're living by yourself. So it became a habit. And then all of a sudden I got addicted to it. And then that was where it took off, and I was like, wow.
That's where it basically got into the fitness.
Yeah,
So
that was in 2014, yeah.
So replaced nearly the fitness with the drugs with the fitness, and the partying with the fitness, isn't it?
That was it. So 2014.
And where was your kind of headspace when you were kind of going into the fitness? Was it out of a place of, I need to sort my shit
I
out?
wanted to change my perception.
Was it your image?
An image, everything, because of such a bad image I built up of myself, or a persona around me of being a fat fuck, a drug dealer, a mess. Never amount to anything. People didn't want to be associated with me.
Okay.
People didn't want to be around me because I was bad news. Always fighting, shit like that. Getting arrested back in the days when drinking and fighting on the streets. And it was just like a bad vibe, a bad aura.
Energy.
Energy.
Like, yeah.
And I knew that why people were. So why would you be around a guy like that? Unless he was your boy or a close boy. Otherwise, you don't know that guy. He's trouble. Like, he's a mess. Like, he ain't got his life together. And I was like, whoa, I got to change this. And what I like, I know you recall, and I started manifesting and visualizing it and thinking, if I get my body in shape, people will start thinking this. Even though it's all bullshit, but the most powerful thing I want to teach everyone is that to be the happiest you can be in life is you got to control what's up there. But you can paint whatever story you want in your entire head. So if it's raining outside there today, I can say to myself, in my own head, it's sunny today, it's the best day ever. I've fabricated bullshit, but in my world, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I painted a fake world in my head, how my whole life is going to look, and I imagined it, and it got me excited, even though it was nowhere near that. But I kept telling myself that every day because it created a fake stigma that it gave me energy, it gave me motivation. So I could believe anything I tricked my brain to believe. And I got so good at doing that I actually believed it fully when even none of it was true. And then when it actually happened, it was like, it happened.
That's what they say. It's like you need to see the image in your head before you actually have it in the physical world.
Yeah.
You need to be there mentally before you get it physically.
Yeah. And that was literally
powerful, yeah.
And again, no one taught me that. It was just
something that was drilled into you.
It just kept not even drilled to me. I was like, my life is so shit, and I was like, I want to not manifest because I didn't know what that word was back then. I was fucking still young. It was just I wanted to vision. Like the word I probably would have used back then was just I saw my life in a different vision, and I was happy when I saw it like that. I was getting endorphins flying, and it made me so excited. I was like, why don't I just tell myself this is my life every day? So I tricked my entire brain into thinking it was like that, even though it was shit. But it made me happy just getting on with the day.
Yeah. Because it's basically like it's your conscious and your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And basically your subconscious mind doesn't know what's real or what's fake.
Fake, yeah.
But if you drill something into your subconscious mind, it doesn't know whether it's real or fake. So it then starts to kind of, the energy comes out into the real world and then that comes back to you. It's nuts, bro. But it's mad that you were kind of, I'm doing a whole course on it now tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah. It's like the conscious and subconscious.
I still don't understand. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I still don't know.
It's class, the fact that
it was just by coincidence fake. One day I got excited about dreaming about my own life, and I was like, wait a sec, I can cheat the game. I can keep doing this. And I didn't know about manifest. I didn't know about anything. I don't know much about it now. I know everyone says manifest, but all I did was just, it makes me happy to think my life is like something else. And all the people I meet, or even my fiance, I tell her now, if anyone's struggling every bad day, I'm like, you can paint whatever picture you want.
In your head. Yeah, it is in your head.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it? It's
crazy.
But I find that mad that just young age, didn't know what the hell you were doing. Well, it's not like you kept stumbling across a course, you didn't stumble across nothing.
Nothing.
It's literally just
came to me.
It was there from birth.
And I think what it was is that I was in such a dark place because I had this whole perception that everyone thought I was like a waste of time. I was in such a hole. And I really it was like the full wall started talking to me because I restricted myself from everyone. I went into like this depression stage. And the full wall started talking to me to the extent, and it was like, bro, you're causing this. Like, cause it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You never used to be like this. But it was because I was worrying about what everyone else was thinking about me. And then all of a sudden I had that eureka moment. I'll never forget it. And I still use this now at my clients today. They're like, oh, Mike, I've had a bad week, or this has been going bad, and I've hit rock bottom. I said, bro, that's brilliant. You've hit rock bottom. That's amazing. And they're like, what? I'm like, you do know that's the best place you can be. And they're like, no, why? I'm like, bro, there's only one place now, and that's up.
Yeah.
And when you get that sense of feeling, so now when I'm going through tough times, I know God's only put it on my plate because he knows I can handle it. Factually, I know if I hit rock bottom, I only say that very rarely, and only twice it's happened to be in my life. and that was one of them. I know there is only one way, and that is up.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy. It keeps like, wow, the worst is over. You get that relief.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. I do the same. I do the same when you were just, or even with the car and shit like that.
Nothing.
Like,
we were walking off.
like the cars, and then it was just like one thing after another. I was like, well, we can only go up from here.
Yeah,
So then you don't stress about it, you forget about it, and then you just go on about it, and shit starts to pick up again. It's brilliant, yeah. But I think that's one thing as well. I learned working with you as well. Just kind of your man management is it's on a different level from anyone that I've ever met in terms of like, you know, if someone comes, what was it one thing? I think I had a bad week basically, and just remember wrote me out 10-minute voice notes. Rambling. God knows what you were saying. No, but I remember it was like, holy fuck, yeah, no, he's right.
Deep, yeah.
Really, really. And man, even just, I remember when I was like, even with advice for a lot of things, I was in Spain at the time. You dropped me off next to a question. And 20-minute voice note I got back. I was there, pen and paper out like this. Yeah. But honestly, yeah, no, fucking much respect for that.
Now, the reason why I do that is because, I mean, like I've been through a lot of shit in my life, which, again, only people in my past or younger age, you wouldn't know it until I told you. No one would experience the amount of shit I went through and the amount of crazy things and shit I saw back in the day, hanging out with the wrong crowds. And I learned a lot from that. It made me a stronger character, do you know? My parents, God love them, do you know? They never had no discipline and no rules for me.
Yeah.
And still to this day, when I got really successful, I was like, why did you never have any grant? And they're like, they said this and I just laughed it off because I was like, this isn't bullshit. They're like, we always knew you'd turn out the way. That's what it's like, you didn't know that. You couldn't have predicted that. I could have been dead in a fucking drain somewhere and you wouldn't have had a clue.
They would be like, I predicted that.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I actually wanted to touch off one thing there was the fact that you hit rock bottom. Are you happy that happened?
Now, when you look back at it, you're going to say, yeah, the first one I hit when I, you know, had that eureka moment and I realised, you know, I restricted myself from everyone. There was about 2 months where I just went monk mode. And God forbid, I brought my parents, I love them. They put me in a position where I could hibernate in a room. They didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to see anyone. Going through like a paranoid state, everything. And that's why I don't smoke weed anymore.
Okay.
I haven't done it for fucking 10, 11, 12 years, messing my head. Like I thought like fucking army coming in the window. Like, it's crazy. Like shit, you know, like wow. So basically, it took me 2 months just by myself before I'd even venture out and go back to a normal life of just seeing people. Like,
and were you training at this time? Or?
No. This is when it was like peak fat stage.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And basically, that was one of the times rock bottom. And the other rock bottom was 2021. I'm sorry, not too long ago.
When I first started meeting you.
Yeah, it was when, because...
You didn't, remember, you kind of got a little bit heavy then around then as well?
Yeah, a bit heavy.
I
lost a lot of money.
Yeah. From stocks and a couple about it?
Everything. Yeah. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. So obviously I got into stocks and everything in crypto in 2020. And I never forgot it. I put like 25k in just straight off the bat. And I turned it into over 65k. So it more than doubled. Like it was like, that's quite a decent amount. Like it was nearly a 3x. And I'm going to everyone like in my head, like an idiot, like going, I'm a fucking genius. Like, this is so easy. Like going to mum and dad, showing the family, and they're like,
pump money.
What this fucker is on? Like, what is this? He just turned 25k just like that. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, this is how people retire. I thought it was that easy. I was like, you just put money in the stock market, you wait 6-7 months and you free exit. I'm like, this is okay. And I'm like, why didn't I put in like 100, 200 grand? Like, and so I'm like, wow, I've cracked the system. This is how, of course, I relate stocks with rich people, millionaires. This is what it is. Then what happened? I was like, right, I've cracked the system. If I can turn 25k and 65k in like 6 months, I've got to put in an extra 200k.
Okay.
So then I remember speaking to people I've worked with, other rich entrepreneurs I've worked with in America. I've worked with quite a few. Like their net average in terms of their net worth would be about 100 million. And they always said one saying to me, scared money makes no money. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, this is a sign. If I want to do this, I've got to put more bankroll into this to really, make serious money.
And were these guys investing in crypto at the time?
No, none of them done crypto. They told me never touch crypto. They never touched stocks. Yeah, they said never, not one of them I've ever worked with. This is a fact. Any guy that I've worked with who's worth over 100 million has never had one stock or never had one crypto. It's all real estate.
Real estate, yeah.
So I just took that advice and just thought, well, I found my little system in stocks and crypto, put in the 200 grand, and then the market started going down and then down and then down and then down and then down, and then I've lost 168k.
So you had how much in it now at the moment?
About 200k.
200k.
And then I'm minus 168 from there. So what's left? About 30 pulled it, yeah.
And did it go back up then after that?
No, it's still...
It just still crashed down.
It still kept down a couple of months, lingering around. So that was some dark times. You know, you I don't want to say suicide. You joke with it. Everyone says, "Oh, I'm going to commit suicide," but like, I mean, you're just like, "Wow, I'm a fuck up. I'm a failure." You hate yourself so much.
And was that a nice lump sum of the amount of money that you to your name, or did you?
No, there was a decent lump sum. I'm not going to say 168k in a lot. That was a decent amount. Yeah.
Was that you kind of tanked out, like, or you still had some in the reserve?
No, I still had
okay,
reserve. Okay. Yeah, so I wasn't bro. I never put.
So it wasn't like you were on the square.
No, I wasn't the square. No, if I probably. I probably would have jumped, but like, yeah, like that was a lot of money for me because I was like, how hard I work for that, and I dedicate myself to giving my clients everything, and I know how much time and effort I give, and that's my reward for it because I give such a good service. But to see $168,000 just obliterate and disappear, that you worked over about 5 months because the market just shit the bed, not only crypto but also stocks, and I was like, all this system I had about getting rich and all that. Of course, obviously, Mike, you're an idiot. It wasn't that easy. It doesn't keep going up. You're not the best investor in the world. So then,
was this one?
Yeah. Like, I'm the best investor in the world. I'm just picking the right ones, and I'm making so much money. And it was like, bro, everyone's like, how are you doing it? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I got a system. There's no fucking system. So then I saw on watching one of these YouTube came up with these online casinos. I saw people sitting down with bare bank in it, and I'm like, I can make the 168k back because I'm in chase mode now, which I advise to no one ever do when you're in chase mode. So I'm like, right, I'm gonna put like 5k into it, and I'm gonna just make that into 15, and I'll take that out and I'll keep building my way up because I've seen people have big wins on this casinos. So sit down, spunk 5k, boom, gone. So heads going, missus is looking at me. This is gone over a couple of weeks, so this is over like about a 3.5 month period now. To the point, she went on my laptop. She blocked the sites. I did $45,000 again. So on top of 168k. So this year now, 2021, I'm just like, sorry, the end of 2021, I've gone into 2022. I'm like, I'm at rock bottom again because I'm like, I'm a fucking failure, man. I'm never gonna be at the peak, you know, and have like fucking 100 million like the people I work with because I'm fucking doing like not suicide, like self-inflicted massive fuck ups. Like I'm throwing away harder money. Stupidly, like, you know, like, I'm just a failure, and I'm all these dark thoughts coming back, going, bro, you're an idiot, like, you know, it's about being impulsive, taking risks, but you're doing the cardinal sin. You should never be gambling that amount of money. How did you start off with $5,000 and then a couple of months later you're $45,000 out?
And did you feel that money going in, or was it just kind of like,
the $5,000? You was like, I'm doing them because like during that time it wasn't constantly loss. Because there was one day I got a big win at $2,000, I was turning to 14k.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is in the comeback, yeah. But then what happened that night, I had a breakdown and he slashed the laptop. She went onto it, she wrote to him, she said, look, block him from all websites and not him gamble. Even though I can easily set up a different account and go, but doesn't mean...
So you were proper addicted to gambling, would you?
Not gambling, I'm just chasing money, not gambling. Yeah. Winning. I want to win in life. And I was at the lot and she saw me, like I was depressed all the time, but the one thing I must hold my head high, and I'll give myself credit, no matter how bad or rock bottom I ever got, no client or anyone around me in my circle, other than my missus, will ever know. Because I won't let my emotions dictate my decisions. I won't let anyone actually see it. I'll still be like, could be here like, oh, dying, like, I've run the worst ever. Shamey, how are you, my man? Yeah, you're good, yeah. Just keep it all hidden because a leader...
Because I was working with you at this time, wasn't it?
Leader always has to lead.
Not once did the server slip. Not one. Yeah. Not one. And I'd always say that about you.
Because as you've always been high. That's the main thing that paid my bills, so I always kept that up. So even though I'm dying inside... even though I'm dying inside and I had some dark thoughts and I was just lying in bed and... I don't forget, and the one thing I love Mrs. is what she said to me. She was like, baby, even if you are broke and you're not as rich as you are tomorrow, I will still always love you. And if I need to get a job to work, to give you money, I will do it. And I was like, wow, that shit motivated me because she was like, you know, basically, if you can't make money anymore, if she needs to go to work, she'll go to work, she'll get a job. And I was like, nah, because I said, you know what? I said, the day you have to work is the day I jump the fucking balcony. And if I can't provide for you or provide for people around me that deserve that, because I put so much time into work that I'm like, I deserve to be able to treat them and give them anything. If I can't support them financially, well, then I'm fucked up even more in life.
Yeah.
So even though I took over a 200k loss that year, again, I'm not going to say I hit rock bottom and bounced back straight away. It took time. It took weeks, months of focusing on my mental health again. But again, put the full focus on my business, always kept a brave face. I never let anyone know I was dying inside, how I was really struggling. Even you, and I was meeting up with you and no one ever knew. I kept it hidden. because I was like, it's my problems. For a man, it's always the mentality. No one gives a fuck, because even if you cry about your problems, no one's gonna fucking fix it. No one's gonna give me 200K. No one's gonna fix my problems. No one's gonna say, here, Mike, here's 200 grand. Oh, my problem's solved. Really, bro? Thank you. So I'm like, what's the point of whinging about it? So inside, I'm battling all these demons.
So can I just stop you there? In terms of, you were saying you were going to focus on your mental health there, like, what were you actually doing to focus on your mental health? Was it actually just getting up and going again? Or was there any, and now it's kind of...
So what happened, what went bad, I know it's characteristic, because I'm always someone that analyses something, you know, because a lesson lost is always a lesson learned. So if something's going bad, I see what was going wrong. At that time when I started getting into gambling, chasing money, I started shortchanging myself in the gym because I was in such a bad mood. I was like, no, I said to Mrs., you go to the gym, I'm going to sit here, because I didn't want her to know I was gambling. It was kind of into addiction. I was like, no, I started feeling today. Second goes out the door, on the website, trunking money into it, throwing money into it, and just gambling. And I was like, yeah, you could say I'm addicted, but I never admit to myself I'm addicted to it. And I was just falling into bad habits of just not going to the gym, gaining weight, getting fat, and lost my whole image of who I was, because I was losing money and I thought I was a failure. I thought I was going downhill. And then I said to like her around me, I was like, look, and it breaks my heart to say this and to tell this publicly. I said, look, I don't want to be with you anymore. She was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm a sinking ship, baby. I'm the Titanic. I said, everything I touch is blowing up. I said, all the years on the come up when I was making all the money, the crazy amounts of money, I said, that's not happening anymore now, because what I'm doing when I make it, I'm giving it away for free. I'm throwing it away. I'm like, do you know what we could have done? Yeah, just what I could do with that money? Do you know what you do? 200 grand and bought a fucking Ferrari. But I've just pissed it away, like. And I was just like, I'm a failure. And all these negative thoughts start coming in. You start talking down to yourself and thinking, wow, man, you had an opportunity to really make something big of yourself, but you're like falling down at the most simple hurdles because they're self-inflicted. And she was like, no, I never leave you. And that was when she said the thing about the job, what I said there just earlier. So I was like, fuck. And as I said, after a couple of weeks, a couple of months, I started to rebuild, buckle down the business, made all that money back, and like obviously way more than that, because when I took a step back and looked at it, I was like, what got me that money? Coaching. What do I know? Coaching. Let's just work even harder on that and make even 10 times more. And since then, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So when I was in bed that night, I was having them dark thoughts. I was like, oh, I just want to disappear. I just want to run away. I fucked away 200K. What a failure.
And did you think that was kind of your opportunity missed then? When
yeah, missed some because I thought I was going to double, triple that into a million.
And then when it went down, you were just like, I'm done.
I've never taken a loss like that in my life. Never taken 200K. I've taken a couple of grand, but not 200K. And I was lying in bed, and this wasn't a moment where I had probably one of them rock bottom eureka moments, because I always very self-analytical, and I was thinking in my own head, and I was like, what are my options? What do you want to do? You want to run away and hide? You just don't want to be known in the industry. You just, because like I'm embarrassed to tell anyone I've fucked away 200 grand. Or if you run away, basically it's saying, you know, you're quitting. And I was like, if I run away to like some fake island, you know, wherever, and live off like all the money I've got for the rest of my life, I was like, I'll be so bored. Because I started playing out the scenario in my head again like I do, and I was like, that'd be so boring. So I was like, you either quit and live a shit life being bored because you're not going to enjoy it to get away from the pain now, or what's the other option? Is work harder at what you do. And I was like, bro, you're not going to quit. And I'm talking to myself, people having this one time, I'm like, you're not going to quit, are you? I'm like, and run away, but where would you go? I don't know where I go. And I'm having these thoughts to myself, and I'm like, you've made this money once, you'll make it again. And that's what I did. I just worked even harder and then just skyrocketed up.
Took off then.
And then I'd done investments in crypto, XRP, and just...
XRP, which we had a little bit of luck in recently.
Yeah, 43 grand in what, 3 hours?
You were on to me for a long time about that.
Telling you to buy it. I've done all my due diligence again, I told you. Just studied it. January the 10th, I put 40 grand into it. And everyone thought, bro, you're crazy. You're a fucking idiot. You're going to lose that. They're going to lose the case. I said, bro, I've studied every document. I've gone down a rabbit hole, spent hours and hours and hours. And then that 40 grand turned actually into like 91 grand. So it was over 50 grand profit in total. But just because in that one day, it went up 43 grand. So I posted on social media in the space of 3 hours, 43 grand. So that was a nice payday. But again, it's just study, absorb, and then take that chance, take that risk. But to me, it wasn't a gamble, it wasn't a risk.
You put the work grind and study.
I knew it was going to happen.
So what essentially is XRP? It's what?
It's going to be like a bridge currency around the world. So about payments, do you know? XRP army, yeah. It's going to basically connect banks more around the world. Supposedly, you know, BRICS are having a summit on the 22nd, 24th of August in South Africa about bringing out a new currency which can be backed by gold. Supposedly down the pipeline, something to do with XRP.
Okay.
Now, the only issue is because of the price is so low now, suddenly, even though I made a shit ton of money, it's still low for it to have the function of what it needs to do. The reason why is because the market cap, the liquidity pool, the price is too low. So like, if I'm sending Shamey, so argument's sake, 50 euro, but say by the time he gets it within them 3 seconds, the price drops, it can only be worth 45 euro.
Okay.
So they're not doing it. They didn't want it to create it to send 40, 50 euro. Yeah, it can do that, but they wanted to send hundreds of millions in split seconds, which it has been doing. But you could argue, say people are taking a bit of a risk because the price goes down 1 cent, you've lost a couple of million, you know. So they're saying for that really to be functional and optimal utility, it needs to have at least, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 per coin, because the market cap would be over a couple of trillion then.
Okay.
No one's got a trillion. There's no one in the world who's worth $1 trillion. Or, you know, I'm not saying billions. You can't manipulate it, can you? Yeah. So then it can actually do its sole purpose. Yeah. But the only way that happens is if banks put all their money into it. Because, as I said, how much is Elon Musk? 200 million or so? Joe, sorry, billions. Like they're not trillionaires.
Yeah.
So it needs to be at a price, and for it to be at that 5,000 or 10,000, there needs to be trillions invested in it. So then, if someone was to transfer 200, 300, couple of billion, or a whale was to pull out, like one budget, like the Bitcoin market cap is 500 billion, right? That's everyone 500 billion.
Yeah.
So it's not like if a whale pulls out, you see some days 300 million, 400 million. There's a little bit of a blip, a tiny bit. But I mean, they can't even have that on the XRP market, because if someone says 500 million, by the time he gets there in 3 seconds, they've lost 10 million. They're like, why the fuck would I do this?
And yeah, it's not worth the risk. Like,
yeah.
So
I do believe it's the future.
Yeah, you're bullish on it.
I've still got, well, now, as I said, there's the 40 grand has turned into like 91,000. So there's 91 grand I've currently got in that.
And what are you kind of expecting it to go to kind of in the future, or what?
Well, it's two kinds of questions. If you say from a technical analysis standpoint, in terms of TA, and me not being, you know, a gas head and going, oh, it's going to go up to 500, 589 because the Simpsons predicted it and all these speculations. If you look at market caps alone, it's not going to overtake Bitcoin's market cap, I don't believe, right? And I'm not, you know, a Bitcoin maxi. I'm like always for XRP. But if you look at it logistically, it can't surpass Bitcoin in my opinion, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
If it was to match Bitcoin's market cap or even half of it, that would only bring it to like, you know, $2 or $3. But again, it brings back my principle. There's no other cryptocurrency in the world that's going to do what this says it's going to do. But we've just said, we just said it's only like the job it does about transfer money. That is only applicable and only will happen if the trillions get put into it. So I'm saying if that rare, they call it flick the switch moment happens, then you've made, I'll be worth over 10 billion tomorrow if it actually did. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. Calculated it, yeah.
Picture in the head.
Like 10 billion is just crazy.
Because they won the court case recently, wasn't it? That was just recent. That's been going on for ages, isn't it?
About 3 years.
Yeah. And then, so what's the next step now?
Next step now is that obviously banks, they're saying banks are adopting it. An article today, 120 banks have adopted it. But it doesn't mean they're going to use it solely as the one main metric. They could be using other payment. Like the methodology we're applying now is SWIFT. We've been using that all well. You send money from Ireland to Dubai. SWIFT is the main loss. Yeah, that's what we use around the world.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You send a bank transfer. It takes 2 to 5 days, working days. That's slow, bro. We're in the 21st century. If you want to send money to someone around the world, you want it instantaneously.
Yeah.
So, as I said, if XRP, they flick the switch and it does exactly what it says, the price is the moon. But if you look at it from a logical, technical analysis point, in just people buying it and holding it, I reckon it could hit like $2, $3.
Okay.
Like just if it didn't do, like they didn't use it for what they were meant to use it for, just people buying it in the next bull market, you might even hit 5. But it's not going to be a crazy price, because we've established in terms of market cap liquidity, there needs to be trillions in it. And who's got trillions?
So essentially what it's going to do is like, so as you said, it could take 3 or 4 days for an international transfer.
Correct.
This, you send it from here, ding. Yeah, it's there within 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the...
So they say 3 seconds, it's meant to be 1, but yeah, there's about 3 seconds.
Go away, yeah. It's fine. What, unlimited amount of number. There's no
unlimited amount of no.
Hell, what's crazy?
Yeah. Instantaneous.
Wow.
So it makes sense that it's technology that's going to change the world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm bullish on, I've got 3 Bitcoin, 3.2, and I've got quant tokens. I've got 50 quant tokens. Yeah. And I've got Stellar, but that's only my smallest holding. I've only got 5 grand in Stellar.
Okay.
So
you're quite bullish on the Bitcoin world, or the cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Oh, and Ethereum, I've got 26,000 in Ethereum, which works out at today's price. It was like 13.8 Ethereum.
Okay, yeah. And any other investments outside of that? Are you in real estate and it like that? Were you in America doing a bit of real estate?
Yeah, doing a bit of real estate, selling houses.
How did that go?
Good, but not great. Like it's not my forte. I don't really know anything about houses. I'm not going to lie. The same thing when someone asks about watches. I don't really have a clue. But a pick for everyone if they wanted to know a good next money making scheme is if you signed up to Link 2, you'll get the Ripple IPO stocks. They're not actually on the market. So how people get rich in the stock market. Remember when Coinbase came out in 2021, there was so much hype. The second it came out, it tanked. Like it came out at $300. By the time it hit eToro or Robinhood, it cleared $100 on the way down. Yeah. Because people at IPO, they bought the pre-sale shares before it IPOs, meaning you're an investor, you get the shares before it's even on the market. They're on sale now. They've gone up quite a bit there because of the court case, but they're at $56, $57 a share at the time of this. Now you have to buy a minimum of 50 shares. So it works out. I don't even know whether that works out now, maths.
What's the name of the coin?
There's Ripple. It's like the ones that own XP. So you're buying they're going to IPO. We know they're going to IPO in 2024. Target price when it launches, when it goes out, just a quick wham bam. Thank you very much, ma'am. It's going to be between $400, $600.
Yeah.
So if you're buying it at $56, $57 a share, my target now is just buy it. The second I know the market's going to tank that,
buy and sell it.
Boom. The day it comes out live, boom, gone. Yeah. Out of the gap, because he will do. Because I saw it at Coinbase. I got clean on Coinbase, so I never understood stocks. Everyone was talking about the hype. This is going to go out the road, and I'm like, this has come out. How did the price start at $300? It's just come out.
I remember it. Yeah, I think I turned money.
This is it. This is going to go on. Yeah. I just seen it kind of like $300 a price, and I'm like, how can it stop? Because it hasn't been on the market. Start $300 a price, and it just dropped down to like 150, and I was like, what the fuck? But because all the shares have been bought before it went public, and that's how you make money in the stock market.
But I suppose it's all about it's actually about learning a lot, making those mistakes, and then you learn that mistake again, isn't it? When it comes to all like investment, I suppose
I'll never make the mistake. I'll never lose 168 grand again now, and I've got way more than that invested now, way more than that, and I will never lose a penny. And I know for signs because I saw that dwindle away. Because my biggest loss out of that 168k was Bitcoin. You know, I was buying Bitcoin at 50k a pop, and it was just dripping like crazy. And so I didn't make that mistake again. If I saw more than a 20% pullback on the market, I'm out, mate. I'm not sweating around. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not waiting to see the 25. Then it's definitely come back up now 30. I'll wait for minus 35%. Oh, no, it's definitely going to come back now 45, 50, 60. Then you're at 85. It's just, wow, bro.
Mike, so when it comes to someone, I kind of wanted to ask the question, I suppose, if there is someone kind of coming into the fitness industry, coming into the fitness space now, what advice would you kind of give to them now and starting off, I suppose, getting into the game?
Well, as you said, the thing that I did, I thought something that was a niche that separated me from the rest of the pack, which was the cardboard clouds. So you've got to obviously separate yourself from the rest of the pack. What makes you unique? Do I believe it's a lot harder? And some people say, oh, you're saying that, it's not true. Well, of course it's hard. It's a more saturated market. Like if you're just coming in now, the first thing is you've got to build up a portfolio of clientele. But if you're competing against all these other guys on Instagram,
I've been doing it for years.
You're doing it for years. Why would they come to you and give you a chance? So the best advice is your communication skills and your likability has to be phenomenal. But what Shamey does a hell of a lot more than me, which is way better than me, is content, bringing it out. You will get clients through content now because everyone knows the way the industry has changed is content. But you first have to build up a social media following. So for example, this podcast, we're going to get new followers from this, things like that. Then they're going to start looking at our stuff. It's not a direct sale, basically straight away. People get to like you first. So anyone coming into the industry that's new, get good at making content, build up that rapport, build up that connection with your audience, and then people are more inclined to take a chance on you in terms of coaching. Because at the end of the day, if someone invests in you and they want you to be their coach, that means they look up to you. They inspire to be you because they want to see you get them the results that you achieved yourself. So the best advice, because it's completely different when I started, is if you want to get into the online coaching business, you've got to be bringing out some decent content, because you're not going to get anyone to sign up other than your local friends, family, but they're always going to say, hey, do me a deal on price, something like that. So you've got to separate yourself, or to build up a social media following, have amazing content, but you build up a loyal following, and then when you do online coaching, you'll get a lot of people take a chance, And then, as I said to Shami, starting off, the best advice I've given everyone, you're not a bad coach. I say this to every person that's in coaching. It's you've got bad clients. When you start off in the coaching industry, you're more of like a psychologist and more of like a babysitter and saying, oh, look, man, you can't be doing that. As you get more experience as a coach and you get better, you get a higher quality clientele. The higher the quality of the client in terms of their dedication and years training, the easier they are to coach. So you're charging the hardest. Yeah, as far as the hardest, you're charging the most money when you've got more transformations and you're getting way better clients. Yeah. And it's easier, takes less time. Because some clients are evidently way easier to coach than clients that are just starting going to the gym. So when you're starting off, more likely if you start off as an online coach, your clients are going to be gym newbies, we call them. They're just going to the gym. That's going to take you twice the amount of work. You're going to be getting paid peanuts because you're new in the industry. Not a lot of people last. They say the average an online coach lasts in the industry is 3 years.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Because you see a lot of them pop up and disappear.
Go hard doing their 3 and then the 3rd year, 4th year.
Not even third or 4th year. I don't see people even make it that long.
They say
at one stage it was like everyone and their mother was not coach. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing as well is actually walk the walk, get into shape, go to the gym. Because a lot of people might know
online coaches
don't even look like they're training themselves and stuff like that. But yeah.
But that's important. Someone said to me always. But again, you see more people nowadays that are bombarding people with knowledge. I look up to them guys. But as I said, me and you would more relate to people that have got an abundance of knowledge compared to us. Whereas average Joes who don't know much about fitness, they're more inclined to go to me and you, the guy that's got the body or something. Yeah. And the guy that's got PhD, master, this. Yeah. And he could be in the shit shape of his life. But I'd be like, God, I can learn a lot from his body.
Whereas I suppose other people are looking,
for the body. Yeah. It's completely different criteria.
For the I suppose the kind of people we'd be coaching, it's like, well, that's kind of like gibberish. Yeah. Whereas to us, it's like interesting. We want to learn about it. So we have to then break it down to them in these terms.
There you go. That was a good explanation. Good analogy, Shami. Yeah.
Right, Mike. Absolute pleasure, my man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shami. It was a privilege.
Man, appreciate that.
Where can we see this? On Pornhub?
Where are we putting it up? Thank you, my guy.